Hola bandidos, ¿cómo estamos? Welcome to Mel's Magic. I'm Magic Mel, and this is Owl, one of my spirit guides. Welcome to Mel's Magic Official. I'm Magic Mel, and amongst many other things, I am your oracle from Egypt. Sounds crazy. Here embodied as Magic Mel. And I wanted to use episode 19 to kind of revise some things or some of the things I said in my previous episode, because guess what? Things are always evolving. I'm always evolving. I am revising myself. I don't claim to speak the truth. I just claim to speak my truth in the present moment from my given present state of consciousness. So, vamos allá. How are you doing, guys? It's Sunday here. I just came from the local mercadillo and talking about abundance. I was strolling through the stalls and just appreciating how the vendors were sharing their craft, sharing their products. And I made it a point to actually invest and support those vendors because the intimacy and the connection that is produced in this relationship between vendor, product, and myself is something I sincerely value. And it's a kind of intimacy that I feel is getting lost in this globalized world where the product is divorced from its source and just embodies a kind of anonymity. And I feel nowadays what we really truly crave is connection and intimacy. So Magic Mel is all about local produce, handicrafts, craftsmen, artisanship, and art and beauty, which equals value. So, some of the things I said in episode 17 or 18, whichever one the last episode was, is the need to to bring down spirit into matter. And upon just reading through the first paragraph of Eisenstein's Sacred Economics, he said something that really rang true to me. The fact that we have divorced spirit from matter, and that is one of the fundamental dysfunctions or misconceptions of our world, that we have relayed and divorced God to something up there above us, watching us, not present here in our daily lives and in matter, not present in our bodies. And I'm like, wow, that really flipped my conception of it all, because perhaps a wiser or more truthful, resonating sentence would be to reconnect with the spirit that lies inherent and is at the heart of matter, that is all around us. The spirit that is in our body, the soul that is in our body, that is expressed through our body and through our energy. There's energy, there's light, there's spirit in everything. And ancient cultures had a much more intimate relationship with that. The spirit in the trees, in the water, in the ocean, the spirit in you and in me, and in the gift exchange that takes place when I gift you my energy, my voice, and the support I receive from you. That is intimacy, that is connection. There's something sacred in that exchange. So I truly value his argumentation, and I'm curious what else he has to say. That was one point. Another thing, I spoke about shadow integration in episode 3 episodes ago. Check it out if you haven't seen it. And I just want to re-emphasize that the shadow is our ally. The shadow serves as a contrapunto and a choice point for us to decide, what am I and what am I not? I wouldn't know what light is if it wasn't for the contrast that my shadow aspects provide. And I also make it a point to say that in our shadow lies our power. For example, if you're someone like me who used to be a very timid, shy persona, our power lies in the shadow. In the shadow, to balance out the timidness, lies our assertiveness, our confidence, us standing our ground. If we relay those aspects into the shadow, we will be imbalanced. So the shadow is always there to provide wholeness, to provide balance. So I respect my demons and my shadow parts because they are my allies. They give me, there's a book also, Duende, it was called Duende, look it up. A beautiful book about an Oxford academic who, again, was looking for balance from his rather austere academic life. And he left his studies or finished his studies and went off to Alicante, the area where I live, to study flamenco guitar. And he eventually went to Madrid to study the guitar, flamenco guitar with the gypsies. And there was something about duende, which is like the demon in passion, the demon that you make your ally when you embody your passion. So again, our shadow has power aspects. So let's not demonize our shadow. Another point. Yeah, I mentioned Carrie Kay's video where I'm quoting her. I also said, I said in one of my last videos, we're not responsible for anyone. We're responsible to someone. But there's a difference here because being responsible for someone else means basically abdicating their own choice point, their own power to lead and to decide for themselves. We are responsible to them in the sense that we're responsible to what energy we bring into the relation, what we bring to the table, what value we provide, but we are essentially responsible for our own soul's calling and filling our own cup, meeting ourselves first. That was another point. Oh, and I said, in relationship with money and investments, I make it a point to invest in my own self-growth. And the next step I feel is I'm going to take a mirror work course from Sister Shanti. Look her up on Instagram. She is together with Aizen, one of the twin flame couples who are anchoring, who are a kind of example of the next kind of relationship that the 5D, the new earth, calls forth, of whole beings, two whole beings coming together. It's like pretty much a power couple, no? Because if you just on your own are already a powerhouse, imagine two of these beings coming together. So check them out, Sister Shanti and Aizen. And Sister Shanti is an advocate for mirror work. And I've talked a little bit about it, how important it is to meet ourselves in the mirror. And she said something beautiful. She said, if you're able to behold yourself in the mirror, that is basically God meeting him or herself. And it's next level, confrontation to really look at ourselves in the mirror. And I did once a meditation with one of my fellow coaches where we did a beautiful exercise that I also use in my own coaching. And it's called Meeting the Wise Advocate. And in this case, we kind of switched it and we said, okay, let's meet our divine feminine muse and go within. So we did this guided meditation where I met my own divine feminine muse, and it was nobody else but Venus from Botticelli, the Venus on her concha on the shell. And Venus, in this meditation, she pulled me towards her. She said, take off your clothes. And she had this mirror standing in front of us. And she said, look at yourself. Behold yourself in your wholeness, in your nakedness, in your sacred nakedness. See the beauty in you. Claim your beauty. Embody your beauty. You are a goddess too. And I was like, damn. And then as an anchoring point, she said, go find a shell and put a rose petal in the shell. And whenever you need to be reminded of your own beauty and of me, Venus, open the shell and behold that rose petal. So I did that. I have a little shell. I'll show you next time. So see, these guided meditations are a beautiful way to use our imagination to connect with our subconscious mind or intuition and to reconnect us with our inner guidance, because we are the shamans. We are our own guru. We have everything inside of us. And again, that doesn't mean that we do not need the support of other people. Another point that Eisenstein made, which is beautiful, and I agree, is the importance of reintroducing or reconnecting with the sacredness of life. Oh, I lost my train of thought there. Oh yes, and what does it even mean? What does sacredness even mean? It means seeing the uniqueness in you and in every sentient being and non-sentient being. There's something unique about this expression. There's something unique about you, something unique about Magic Mel. And there's also, in this uniqueness, an importance in the larger web that we are connected to, that we are a part of, the larger weave that we are linked to by using the thread of our being. We are weaving the web of humanity. So without you, there's something essential missing in the wider web. So that's why bringing our gifts to the fore, reconnecting with our gifts is so important in this new type of economy that we are creating by empowering ourselves and sharing our gifts. So how can we relate again with the sacredness in our lives? I make it a point to ritualize a lot of things in my mundane everyday life. Making my bed, it's a ritual. Showering, cleansing myself, affirming positive statements to my mind, nourishing my mind. How I relate to my food. I told you that I went to the local market. What do I say yes to? Who do I support? Because my choices are important. My choices create timelines, create opportunities, bring in abundance that maybe wasn't there before. And even that I'm going to question, because the abundance is really there. Even heaven, the higher dimensions, spirit is there. But are we connecting to it? Are we beholding it? Are we appreciating it? Are we relating ourselves to it consciously? That is the question. And sacredness is about appreciating the value of the uniqueness that each element, each particle, each fragment, each microcosm means in the larger web of the universe. And it also means bringing this intimacy and connectedness back into our lives. How do I connect with my uniqueness, with my gifts? How do I relate with them first? And how do I bring that to the table for you to appreciate, for you to see the value in? I feel we also are called to redefine how we value things and what do we value. And money is an important aspect to that. Money is just, and I'm quote paraphrasing it in my own words, is a systemized way, and maybe by now institutionalized way, of agreements of what we value. But again, this is where the power of choice comes in. The money I have, how do I spend it? Do I invest it in things that bring me joy and wholeness and expansion? Or do I invest it in things that are anonymous and superficial? Am I investing in substance or superficiality? That is a big question. So the way I use my energy, the ways I nurture my mind, where I put my attention, where I put my energy, what I say yes to, those are all crucial choice points. And if we all make them, we create something different. So the individual has a choice and the collective has a choice, but it starts with each one of us first. Yeah, so those are the clarification points I just made for today. And again, probably tomorrow I'm going to revise today, because it's an ongoing process. But the process is the beauty. The process is no less valuable than the destination. Because sometimes we say, oh, I'm only going to be happy when I have so and so, when this and this happens. And that is all conditional. I'm making joy and happiness a lifestyle in the present moment, choice by choice, moment by moment. Bah? So I thought today, I just want to free flow and tell a story. I love stories. And that's another thing that I feel that is so ingrained within us from ancient times, the value of storytelling, the need for storytelling. Again, it's different if you buy a product from the market and you know the story of that product. It's different when you buy a painting from Magic Mel and you know the story behind the painting. It comes back to connection, relatedness, proximity, and intimacy, and value. What and how we value things, and what kind of story we want to create and value. We are all storytellers. We are the authors of our own lives. What kind of story are you writing for your life? Are you realizing that you are the hero of your own story? That you have the pen in hand, that you can rewrite it? Because as you rewrite your story in the present moment and create a different perspective, you are altering your past, because your past only makes sense in relation to your present. And from the present moment, you can write your future story. Because by affirming that and telling yourself that and acting according to that, you're literally bringing that future into your 3D reality. That's how powerful we are. So I just wanted to connect with our Asga team. If you don't know what Asga team is, check my previous episodes. Connecting with my Asga team, with your Asga team, and just free flowing, being open to receive what story wants to be told. Maybe let's keep it to 6 cards, yeah? Dear Asga team, what story needs to be told or wants to be told through us? Ooh, wow. Our story starts with the infamous tower. I feel you've gone through a tower moment recently, haven't you? And the tower is all about derrumbar. Help me out, what's the word in English? Is let's say the destruction of a belief system that no longer served you, a way of being that no longer served you, a group of habits that you have attached yourself to, that you have attached your identity to, that no longer serves you. So the tower is the universe's way of shifting, of radically shifting your timeline, waking you up and saying something is not working, and you are putting a blind eye to it. You've been carpet sweeping. So excusez-moi, I have to roll in and strike the lightning bolt for you to have an insight and to shift your foundation so that something more sustainable can come from it. Tell me in the comments box, what has your tower moment been? I shared with you my tower moment from the eclipse season of where I radically had to step out of my sacred economy movement to honor myself in my next phase of expansion. That was a tower moment. Yeah? Tell me in the comments box, what was your tower moment? So the tower has come down. What had to be released through the tower? I'm curious. What had to be released through our tower moment? Well, let's just be open. Okay, 2 cards came out. I'm going to take the first one. Oh gosh, guys, I need to stretch more of all this dancing. Okay, what had to be released is the 3 of Pentacles. And the 3 of Pentacles is a certain way you see here of collaborating. If you look closely here, there's a kind of, I thought in the beginning it was a jester, but it's not a jester. It's someone holding a measuring device, and he might be a certain craftsman. Is it the Renaissance we're talking here? And 2 architects. For me, they look like 2 architects, and they're building a cathedral. Yeah. So each one has his field of expertise. The architects know their expertise, measuring and laying out plans and conceptualizing space, and maybe the mason knows how to use the bricks and mortar, the building blocks of the cathedral, and both of them rely on each other's expertise. And again, going back to sacred economy, in a sacred economy, we all rely on each other because we are called to collaborate. What you bring to the table is very unique to you compared to, for example, what I have to bring to the table. We have different strengths, and that is, my weakness. I don't even want to look at my weakness because I prefer to focus on my strengths, which is communication and creativity. Put my creation, my creativity together with your strengths. That makes a team that complements each other. And put that in a larger context of a community. We will share our gifts, our strengths, and build something beautiful. Build a cathedral. So the tower had to probably come down for us to realize that we are building something much larger than the sum of our parts, the sum of our individual lives. We are literally building the cathedral of the new paradigm. And the new paradigm is built on us connecting to, vibrating in Christ consciousness, where the church in walls is no more needed, because the new church is built in Christ consciousness of our own being, each one bringing that Christ consciousness to the table. The new church is built on a type of frequency beyond the walls of the past. So to build this new paradigm, we each have to come in touch with our innate gifts, our calling, our truthfulness, and collaborate from this sense of wholeness with each other and create the cathedral. It's a beautiful metaphor, the cathedral of the new earth. Yeah? So, are you connecting with your true gifts? Are you sharing them with the world? And by sharing them, making the world a more abundant place? Or are you being stuck in scarcity mentality, which probably the universe had to knock down because it doesn't serve you nor anyone anymore? It only served us, well, it only served the 3D matrix because the 3D matrix depended on us being self-conscious and only watching out for ourselves and being kind of neurotic in that sense, because being self-conscious and outlaying our sense of validation and worthiness to the acceptance by other people makes us paranoid. It makes us constantly come from lack of being not enough in all senses. And that had to be wiped down by the universe. Yeah? Next card is the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is this beautiful energy of courage, determination, passion, of abundance. Look at her holding the sunflower, what I see as a sunflower, which is joy and happiness, being connected and rooted with that joy and happiness that we can connect and generate from our own being, from the inside out. She also has a wand, no? Kind of baston. That again speaks to me about this authority that naturally shines forth as we connect with our inner authority. There's a little cat at her feet. She's a bit of a sorceress too, the Queen of Wands. And you look at her throne, you see some lions and just general, the color red vibrating passion, and her yellow robe vibrating vitality and joy. So the Queen of Wands is an aspect in you, regardless of your gender, that you can connect to, your passion, your determination, your charisma. And if maybe that's not your forte, you can balance that out in coming into relationship with someone else who can complement that part of you. So connect with your inner Queen of Wands. Connect with your passion, with what brings you bliss, with your joy that lights you up from the inside, and see literally miracles unfold, because the new paradigm is also, it doesn't really work on linear time anymore. We can shapeshift timelines within much shorter time just by us coming back to our base essence frequency, which is joy, happiness, and love. From there, we are magnets for miracles. The Queen of Wands, joy and happiness, passion, is a magnet for miracles. So why don't you connect to some guidance, your inner guidance, your Asga team, and ask for guidance if you feel that you're a little bit shaky still. Because just like any aspect, we can connect to those frequencies, gods and goddesses, angels, and embody that frequency. It's all within reach. Just have the courage and trust that it is within you and that you're worthy to connect with that aspect of yourself. So that's the third card. 3 more. Thank you so much, the Asgard team. What's next in our story after the Queen of Wands? Now that the tower has come crumbling down, now that we know that we're building and are part of a much larger, a more beautiful vision. Charles Eisenstein also calls it the more beautiful world our hearts know is possible. Isn't that something beautiful? 5D consciousness is also about really reconnecting with our heart space, because the heart is so wise. The heart has a mind of its own that is more universal, that is much more expansive and much more soul-based than the mind. The seat of our soul it speaks via our heart space. And as cheesy as it sounds, our heart knows better. Our heart cuts through the illusions of our mind, the stories of our mind, and just goes straight to the heart of the matter. It simplifies things also, because the heart also speaks through our intuition, our body signaling to us what is right for us and what is not right, in the sense of it doesn't resonate, it doesn't serve us. So trust your body, come back into your body, connect with the sacredness of your body, the spirit, the soul that is here alive in the cells of your body. Okay, after the Queen of Wands, we have the Page of Pentacles. Look at him. Pages are all about new beginnings, new opportunities. After the 10, and 10 in Tao means a completion, we have someone bringing an opportunity. It might be small, but even the page has the courage to take that one next step towards the fulfillment of his vision, towards the fulfillment of his heart's desires. And I talk about this a lot now. Sometimes we get so overwhelmed and we feel powerless in the enormity, in the colossalness of the task, be it our dream, our vision, doing something meaningful. We always say, well, what can I do? And I always encourage you, you matter. The small actions you take matter. If you see Khalil Rafati on Instagram, I also admire that guy. I don't put him on a pedestal. I don't put anyone on a pedestal anymore. But I respect people. And Khalil Rafati always says, improving 10% every day is enough. We don't need to take these grandiose, grand leaps. Just working step by step, moment by moment, towards something that feels more empowering, more nourishing, and more fulfilling. And the page says, well, maybe what I have to give is not that much now, but it's still valuable. I still feel it's worthy, and I'm offering that to you. So, guys, be expected to receive something out of nowhere. It might be what seems maybe like a little offer, but even that little offer, look at the value that's behind it. Look at the intention that the opportunity to the person is handing you over. It's valuable. If you see through, if you connect with your intuition will always help you discern also what is behind this intent, what is behind this offer. Is it something of value to me or not? Does it resonate with me or not? Does it bring me peace and contentment and happiness or not? Allow the Page of Pentacles to arrive. Just be open to perceive and to receive. And that's something else that we need to nourish by coming back to the present moment so that we don't get caught up in the future stories or the past stories. If we're present and we pause and recollect ourselves, the universe is able to hand us abundance, connect us with abundance because we're actually present to receive it. We need to be here though, right here and right now. So expect the page to have some good news, good opportunity to hand to you. And it's up to you to accept it and to value it. That's where your own choice comes in. So that makes 4 cards, 2 more. What comes after the Page of Pentacles? Thank you so much, dear Asya team. Truly appreciate you guys working in tandem with us humans. We're probably quite a pain in the arse sometimes. Our angels are like, oh my God, you still haven't learned that lesson? They have a lot of patience. And we need to have patience with ourselves too. Because patience is a sign of grace, of compassion, of like, hey, we mess up. And this beautiful scene of Scent of a Woman with Al Pacino, if you haven't watched it, watch the movie. Oh my God. There's this scene also where he invites this young lady to tango, and the young lady's a little bit, should I do this or not? Al Pacino's blind in the movie, and he says, hey, don't worry if you're gonna mess up, because if we get all tangled up, we just continue to tango. That's the beauty about tango. So, you want to tango with me? Okay. Talking about completion, the Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords looks a bit drastic. There's this guy with literally 10 swords in the back. And this is, you know how the saying goes, there's no new beginning without an end, or every end it brings with it a new start. When every door closes, there's 10 more that open. We need to be okay with something having come to an end. Again, in connection with the Tower, an old way of thinking, an old identity that we need to release, that it's time to mature out of. Honoring also these cycles of completion, because every cycle is valuable in the grander scheme of our lifetime, of our archaic hero's journey that we all go through. So what is that phase, that chapter that you just had to close? Tell me in the comments box. For me, a big cycle I'm closing is people pleasing. Just people pleasing and leaking my energy to scenarios and situations that quite frankly don't deserve my energy anymore, or that I have grown out of. And it's nothing to judge. It's just part of life. Everything is a cycle. Everything has a phase. Just in our own life, we mature from infancy into what comes next, adolescence, and then adulthood. Every cycle is important. Every cycle has value. So If something has come to an end for you, walk away, or better actually, move on with grace and gratitude. Yeah. So that's the fifth card. And our final card, dear Aska team, what is our final card for today's story? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for channeling your guidance and your wisdom to us and through us. Okay. The last card is the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles usually talks about kind of keeping energy to ourselves, no? I like to interpret this card about honoring ourselves, knowing what we bring to the table, realizing, appreciating the value of our time, our energy, our talents, our strengths, and standing our ground. Literally, look at her. She's got he or she has got his 2 feet on these 2 pentacles, grounding these pentacles, holding one pentacle at the kind of heart space and balancing a pentacle on his head. So 4 also speaks about stability. And if there's anything that this tells me is stability. He's kind of very solidly holding onto his pentacle, balancing the pentacle on his head, and grounding himself on the pentacles on the ground. Pentacles also have to do with abundance. So I feel that, having gone through this phase of completion of not shape-shifting, identity expansion, we're asked to really value the abundance that we possess already, not in the future, but right here, right now, regardless of your circumstances. Try and see if you can appreciate how far you've come and what you have to bring to the table now, with your given circumstances, with whatever is reflected in your 3D. You have the ability, you have actually already created your foundation and your stability, your sense of abundance. And if you haven't, again, the card encourages you to look within what you already possess, the resources that you can connect to, the talents you have, the gifts you have, and to be proud of that, to cherish that and to honor that, and to know that, again, with the 3 of Pentacles we had earlier, that you are part of the bigger picture, that you are an essential building block, metaphorically speaking, building block in this wall-less cathedral that we are creating through the joy and Christ consciousness that we're embodying through our own being right here, right now. Yeah. There's another thing I said in the last episode. Our body is a psychic tool and machine. Machine is probably the wrong word. More of psychic intelligence. Our body is a form of intelligence. We don't need to tell our body to breathe, to heal itself, to bring us back into wholeness. The body knows how to heal. The question is, do we encourage, support, and allow that healing to take place? Because at the root of healing is the word wholeness. Our body, our psyche are always trying to push us or encourage us or bring us back into wholeness. Even our so-called diagnosis of ADHD, of anxiety, of depression, they are just mental adaptations and ways, symptoms of our being to alert to us, to bring to the forefront of our awareness that something needs to be balanced out, that something maladaptive or that the body or psyche had to adapt in a way to compensate for something out there that was putting pressure on us, that kind of, just like a tree that had to grow crooked in order to find the sunlight. It doesn't mean the tree is not healthy, not worthy, not whole. It just had to take that shape to find the light. So, I lost my train of thought there. But our body is an intelligence. Our body is very, very intelligent. And it takes courage to come into the present moment and to listen to its messages, because our mind has a different agenda usually, and to trust that the body is guiding us for our own highest and best and wholeness. So you are a beautiful brick in this wall-less cathedral. Your healing is important. Your wholeness is important. Your gifts are important. You are an abundant being already. The only thing you need to do is appreciate what you've already built, who you already are, and come from that sense of worthiness, wholeness, dignity, the connectedness to your own divinity, who you really are, and shine that out into the world. be the lighthouse for us to see, for us to connect with, for us to resonate with, if we vibe on the same frequency. Yeah. So that is my message of today. Es un domingo. I hope you are able to step out there into the world and just take a few minutes, few breaths to make a countdown, make a list, maybe if it's just internal, that's fine, of the beauty that you can perceive right out there, that is just waiting for you to behold it, to perceive it with your eyes, with your perception, with your loving gaze and attention. Well, so this is episode 19 of season 6. Owl and I've got your back. Each episode is different here at Mel's Magic Official because we are a creature of the present moment. Whatever needs to come out, whatever aspect needs to come out in these words, in the moment, is what you get. Well, if you like my vibe, if you resonate with my voice, with my keynote, with my gift, if you want one-on-one coaching, email me. My email is in the message box, in the description box below. I love to receive your comments. I appreciate every one of you here who's listening. And at Mel's Magic Official, I'm here to help you guide yourself back home to yourself, to help you connect with your power, with your gifts, and to encourage you to share those gifts with the world. Va? Stay tuned for episode 20 coming up super soon. Have an amazing domingo y te mando un super beso. Ciao.